Hey, what's up? I wanted to deliver on this video that I said I would. Earlier today, I published this blog post over on the Docket WP blog, which is a step-by-step process that I use in my agency for design and development projects. And within this, I'll put a link here in the video so you can go check this out if you want. But in here, several times I mention a client dashboard. So I had a couple questions on what I use to create the dashboard, and I said I would do a video on exactly how it's set up. So that's what this is. I will say, caveat first, I totally stole this idea from Faye Murray, who was kind enough to share exactly what she was doing for her clients. And I took that and adopted it for myself. And why I really liked this is because I have used several different tools to create a portal or dashboard for my clients, but it always ends up being a little bit more complex than I would like it to be. It either takes too long for me to set up for each project, which feels like a waste of time, or it's too complex for my clients to actually use, so they don't. So I end up having to re-explain everything through email every time. And what I like about this setup is that since I've started using it, my clients don't have any questions on it. It's really straightforward and easy to use, as you'll see here in a second. And also, it only takes me a few minutes to set up. So let's take a look at what the client sees. So basically, I have this set up as a custom post type, which you'll see the back end of in a minute. But it has a welcome here. I put their name in here. The URL actually has their company name in it. I give them this URL and then just tell them to bookmark it so they can reference it. They're going to need it several times throughout the process. The first section here is all their tasks. So these are all the things I'm going to need them to attend to during the development of their website. So the first is their onboarding form. If they click on this, it takes them to a Google Doc with their onboarding form. So they can click on that, go start filling that out. When they're ready to supply content, they can click on this. It will take them to all their content templates where they can fill those in for me. This takes them to a Dropbox file request link so they can upload all their assets, photos, videos, all those kinds of things. And then this is a link to their development site. So I'll set up, a subdomain that I'm developing their website on. This will take them to it. But the benefit of having all this on the dashboard is they only have to remember one URL, which is super simple for people, right? Of course, content seems to be the thing that hangs up projects. So I have a couple guides here that I've created that I share with them here on this dashboard in case they get stuck while they're writing content. They can go through and read these guides. And I've also provided an example of what a completed Google Doc of their content should look like. I hadn't quite got any of them to do it exact, but at least it gives them something to strive for. And then we have a video here of how to use Project Huddle. So this is a video I just recorded one time. It stays here inside the template and it will explain to them exactly how to use Project Huddle to give me feedback once we're developing their site. Lastly, there is a support form. Since this is on their specific dashboard page, in the email that I get from this form, I know which page it came from, so I know which customer it came from. So I just have subject and message so they can send a support request right here from their dashboard if they're stuck. So all this is pretty simple to set up, and we'll take a look at it. So I used custom post type UI and then advanced custom fields to set this up, but you could do the same thing with pods totally for free. I just happen to like ACF. All right, so we only have 5 different fields in here. And like I said, this is why I like this because it's so simple. We have the client name, which I usually just put their first name in there. We have a URL field for their onboarding form, URL for their content templates, URL for the Dropbox file request, and their development URL. And of course, this is just showing if the post type is equal to project. You can see I have projects right here. And this is the custom post type for all these dashboards. So let's take a look at one of these that I've kind of filled out. So in the title, I put the company name, and that's what's going to show up in the URL, which is handy. I put the client's first name here. I put a link to their onboarding form, a link to their content templates. Both of those are just Google Docs that I will clone from, make a copy in Google Drive, put their name in it, and then drop the link right in here so they can get to that easily. Same thing with the Dropbox file request. You can, if you have a Dropbox account, you can create a file request specific to each customer. It'll produce you a link, and then they can go back and forth as many times as they need to and upload files to that folder. And that way you can keep everything nice and tidy and all in one place. And then, of course, once I have their development URL, I'll drop that in here. and hit save, and it's done. So in this blog post, I share at the bottom, if you opt in, I have a bunch of email templates. So within this this set of email templates, I talk about exactly where I share this with them and exactly how I present this to my client and tell them to, go to this dashboard page. This is going to have everything they need. So they only have one place to go. They can manage everything from here and get to everything they need without it being overly complicated. So anyways, if you have any more questions, I'd be glad to answer them. This template for the custom post type was set up with Elementor as a single post template. So if you have Elementor Pro, you can do all that. Same thing if you use Beaver Themer, you could do the same thing there. But yeah, it's all pretty simple and straightforward, and it's just really streamlined my process for me and made all this a whole lot more simple, which at the end of the day is always what I'm looking for. Hopefully this helps. If you have any questions, let me know.